today we are going to discuss about a topic which is known as the Indian Ocean Rim Association. So we are going to understand about the importance of Indian Ocean Rim Association for India, right? So we need to understand about this organization, which is Indian Ocean Rim Association, all right? So let us understand the context, right? First, we will understand the context, why we are reading this particular topic. What is the importance of this topic? So recently, there was a meeting, right? This meeting was conducted by the Council of Ministers, right? So there was a meeting of Council of Ministers, right? There was a meeting of Council of Ministers of the Indian Ocean Rim Association, and this particular meeting has happened in let's say Colombo. It has happened in Colombo. Colombo means it is the capital of Sri Lanka. And this meeting has happened in the month of October 2023. So what was the theme of this meeting? The theme is very important. What is the theme of this meeting that has happened? The theme of this particular meeting is that it says reinforcing Indian Ocean identity. Theme is reinforcing Indian Ocean identity. Reinforcing Indian Ocean identity. So this is the context. That's why we are reading this particular topic, and we will understand about the nature of this organization, how this Indian Ocean Rim Association came into being, what is its membership, how many member countries are there, what is India's role, who are the founding members of this organization, why the Indian Ocean Rim Association is important. We are going to understand that factor. We will understand the challenges in the Indian Ocean Rim Association for India, and we are going to look for the way forward also related to this. Okay, so when we talk about Indian Ocean Rim Association, right, this to understand this, we need to understand about historical background to this organization, means like how this organization was formed. I hope all of you have heard about name of a person. He is very renowned, right? His name is Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela. So he is a leader, right? He is a leader from South Africa. So Nelson Mandela has visited India in 1995. Okay, he visited India, right? He visited India in 1995. So after his visit to India and South Africa, they have together thought that we will create an organization, we will create an association that's going to foster the maritime cooperation between these two countries, right? So initially these two countries were there. So this has happened in 1995. And in 1995, they have thought of creating an organization which is known as Indian Ocean Rim Initiative. So in 1995, in the year of 1995, they have created an organization. Name of this organization is Indian Ocean Rim Initiative. Indian Ocean Rim Initiative. So this is how this particular, let's say, an organization came into being. So initially there were 2 member countries, okay? Initially there were only 2 member countries who have participated in it. But after 2 years, right, after 2 years in 1997, what has happened? Few more member countries have joined. They are, let's say, after 1997, Mauritius and Australia have also joined. And they have signed a charter. What is the name of the charter? Name of the charter is the Charter of the Indian Ocean Rim Association. The Charter of the Indian Ocean Rim Association. Indian Ocean Rim Association for regional cooperation. For regional cooperation. So they have signed a charter. Name of the charter is the Charter of the Indian Ocean Rim Association for Regional Cooperation. And because of this particular charter, this organization came into being, the organization that we see presently, okay? The Indian Ocean Rim Association came into being. It talks about the establishment of Indian Ocean Rim Association, okay? It talks about the establishment of the Indian Ocean Rim Association. So after Indian Ocean Rim Association was established, right, later on, slowly and gradually, many countries have joined. And if we talk about who are the members now, who are the members, so presently this particular organization has 23 members and it has 11 dialogue partners, okay? It has 11 dialogue partners. Now, what is the difference between a member and a dialogue partner? A member participates in all the meetings of the Indian Ocean Rim Association. A member has the right to vote. But the dialogue partners, they have been, let's say, like, extended a kind of dialogue partner, let's say, association. So they can participate in some of the meetings where these members ask them to participate. This is one thing. They do not participate in all the meetings. Apart from this, the dialogue partners do not have the voting rights. Generally, means like if a country wants to join Indian Ocean Rim Association, so they are initially made a dialogue partner. So these dialogue partners may later on think of joining Indian Ocean Rim Association. They can, let's say, like, send a formal proposal to join Indian Ocean Rim Association. Then the existing members have to take a call. When there is a consensus between the existing members, so they, let's say, allow the new members to also join. So when we talk about India, India is a founding member of the Indian Ocean Rim Association. All right. So here we need to understand this factor that India is a founding member of the Indian Ocean Rim Association. It is a founding member of Indian Ocean Rim Association. Presently, as I discussed, this particular organization has 23 member countries and it has 11 dialogue partners. 11 dialogue partners. We have already, let's say, uploaded the ED booklet. So you can read from the ED booklet the name of the members of the Indian Ocean Rim Association. So the members include Australia, Bangladesh, Comoros, France, India, Indonesia, Iran, Kenya, Madagascar, Malaysia, Maldives, right? Malaysia, Maldives. So these are the member countries. So over here you can see this, right? The member countries are Australia, Bangladesh, Comoros, France, India, Indonesia, Iran, Kenya, Madagascar, Malaysia, Maldives, Mauritius, Mozambique, Oman, Seychelles, Singapore, Somalia, South Africa, Sri Lanka, Tanzania, Thailand, United Arab Emirates, and Yemen. So these are the member countries of the Indian Ocean Rim Association. Here we have included a map. In this map, all those countries that are highlighted using dark blue color. So they are the full-time members of the Indian Ocean Rim Association. As we can see that this is Indian Ocean, right? This is Indian Ocean. This is Indian Ocean. And these member countries are, let's say, like, has maritime border with the Indian Ocean, right? They have maritime borders with Indian Ocean. But there is a country that do not have directly maritime border with Indian Ocean. This country is France. You can see over here, right? This country is France. So France is also a member of the Indian Ocean Rim Association. Okay, France have been extended the membership of this particular organization. So it is important for all of you to remember, to know that France is also a member, although France does not share a maritime border with Indian Ocean. Because like over here we have, let's say, Atlantic Ocean, then here we have Pacific Ocean and all, okay? So this is the thing, France is important. Apart from this, if we talk about the dialogue partners, right? Which are the dialogue partners? China is a dialogue partner to the Indian Ocean Rim Association. Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Germany, Italy, Japan, South Korea, Russia, Turkey, United Kingdom, and the United States of America. So those countries, let's say like, those countries that are highlighted using this color, which is, let's say, dark blue color over here, they do not have direct border, like maritime border with Indian Ocean region. For example, Germany, it does not have. Russia, it does not have. United States of America does not have. China does not have. So these are dialogue partners to the Indian Ocean Rim Association. The only exception is France. France is a full-time member that does not have a maritime border with Indian Ocean Rim Association. This is the thing. We have already discussed about the background of the Indian Ocean Rim Association. Means Nelson Mandela from South Africa, he has visited India, and India and South Africa together have decided to create an organization which they named as Indian Ocean Rim Initiative, right? So initially it was named as Indian Ocean Rim Initiative. So that's how the Indian Ocean Rim Association came into being, right? That's how it came into being. If I talk about what are the focus areas, right? What are the focus areas in which the Indian Ocean Rim Association works? So we are going to discuss about these focus areas, right? We are going to discuss about the focus areas quickly. It is important for us to understand what are the areas in which this organization works. Okay, what are the focus areas? Focus areas or priority areas. So these focus areas or priority areas, they involve trade and investment, maritime safety and security, fisheries management, disaster risk reduction, academic and scientific cooperation, and tourism promotion. And if we talk about what is the importance of Indian Ocean Rim Association, or if we talk about the priority areas of Indian Ocean Rim Association, it is important for you to remember or know about the priority areas of Indian Ocean Rim Association. So if we have to discuss about it, so first of all, we need to understand about the, let's say, nature of this organization. If we talk about the Indian Ocean Rim Association, this is IORA. It is a intergovernmental organization. What? It is an intergovernmental organization. Intergovernmental organization. What do we mean by intergovernmental organization? An organization whose members are only states. States means countries. In international relations or international law, we call countries as states, right? So Indian Ocean Rim Association has its members who are states. So that's why it is an intergovernmental organization. Only governments of various countries are members to it, okay? So this is the nature of this particular organization. This is the nature. Having understood this, let us quickly understand about the priority areas, the areas in which Indian Ocean Rim Association works. One of the priority area is maritime security. One of the priority area is maritime security, right? Maritime security is one of the priority areas of this particular organization. Second priority area is blue economy, okay? Next is, let's say, blue economy. We have taken an ED class on blue economy. We have discussed in detail about blue economy also. Then other priority area to this is trade and investment facilitation. Okay, trade and investment. Trade and investment facilitation. Okay, trade and investment facilitation. This is the third priority area. Then fourth is disaster risk reduction. Okay, disaster risk reduction. Disaster risk reduction. And towards this, the government of India already has, let's say, initiated a international collaboration, international project, which is known as Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. In short, it is known as CDRI. CDRI stands for Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. Okay, Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. Here also the government of India was the first country to initiate this. Okay, so disaster risk reduction is one of the priority areas of Indian Ocean Rim Association. Then if we talk about the next priority area to it, it is academic and scientific cooperation. Okay, it is academic and scientific cooperation. Academic and scientific cooperation. I hope you are also writing along with me. Okay, it is important that you write it, because if you write, you will be able to remember, and later on if a question comes, you will be able to reproduce, right? If we write it, we remember it for long. That's the thing. So this is academic and scientific cooperation. Then women's economic empowerment. Okay, other priority area is women's economic empowerment. Women's economic empowerment. The next priority area to this organization is tourism promotion and cultural exchanges. Okay, tourism promotion and cultural exchanges. Okay, tourism promotion and cultural exchanges. And the next priority area is fisheries management. Okay, next priority area is fisheries management. Okay, next priority area is fisheries management. So these are the priority areas of Indian Ocean Rim Association. Now related to this, basically, like, you know, our external affairs minister S. Jaishankar has written a book. What is the name of that book? Name of that book is The India Way. Name of that book is The India Way. So this is a book which is based on foreign policy. It is a book which talks about like how India should be perceived internationally, like how India can strengthen its image in the global, let's say, like, you know, like among various countries in the world. So in The India Way, in chapter number 8 of this book, he talks about maritime cooperation. He talks about maritime safety and security. He mentions about, let's say, various initiatives in which government of India has, let's say, like, you know, coordinated or participated. One of the initiative that the government of India is part of, it is known as Sagar. Okay, it is known as what? Sagar. What is the full form of Sagar? Full form of Sagar is security and growth for all in the region. Okay, Sagar stands for security and growth for all in the region. Okay, for all in the region. So we have a Sagar vision. This is known as Sagar vision. Security and growth for all in the region means we want that all the countries that are part of the Indian Ocean Rim Association, they have maritime safety, they have maritime security, and they can grow in their respective economic, cultural, political, and let's say like blue economy related initiatives. And for this, like, India wants to cooperate with them, for which India wants to collaborate with them. We want to diplomatically connect, let's say, in a deeper level with these countries, so that like we foster greater cooperation, so that like, you know, we share deep ties with these countries. All right, so that's how, let's say, like, you know, we can promote the Indian Ocean Rim Association. Okay, so that's the thing. Just a minute. So that's how we can, let's say, like, you know, strengthen India's presence globally. Okay, Sagar vision means security and growth for all in the region. And apart from this, there is another document that Government of India has recently published. This is known as India's Maritime Vision. Okay, India's Maritime Vision 2030. Okay, there is a document. It is India's Maritime Vision 2030. So in this document, the Government of India mentions about the priority areas for India in securing cooperation with its, let's say, neighboring countries, so that like we can have greater presence in the maritime region, so that we have a deeper say into the maritime region. Why? Because like we have a neighborhood country which is China. China is very much aggressive. It wants to have a hegemonic structure in the region. So the thing is, in South China Sea is little to the, let's say, eastern portion of Indian Ocean region. In South China Sea, Chinese government asserts its sovereignty. However, that was challenged by, let's say, Philippines and other countries. And in 2016, there was an award, arbitral award, and that award was given by the Permanent Court of Arbitration. Permanent Court of Arbitration has given a ruling in the year of 2016, and that ruling was against China. And in that ruling, the Permanent Court of Arbitration has, let's say, looked into various matters. They have looked into, let's say, they have considered the international customary practices in international law. They have also considered the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, which is in short known as UNCLOS, United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. In short, it is known as UNCLOS. It is a law, right? It is an international law that, let's say, that is used for resolving any disputes between different countries if the dispute arises because of sea, because of maritime related issues. All right. Apart from this UNCLOS, apart from the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, apart from this, let's say, there is recently another issue that is going on, right? To the south of India, if I quickly draw the short map of India, right? If I draw the map of India, right? So this is, so over here, right? Just to the south of India, there is a country. It's very small island country. Name of this country is Maldives. What? Its name of this country is Maldives. So tell me, is Maldives a member of the Indian Ocean Rim Association? Is Maldives a member of Indian Ocean Rim Association? Anyone who have, let's say, given some attention while we were discussing the members? Once again, see this, right? These are the member countries. Australia, Bangladesh, Comoros, France, India, Indonesia, Iran, Kenya, Madagascar, Malaysia, Maldives. Maldives is a member of the Indian Ocean Rim Association. Okay, Maldives is a member of Indian Ocean Rim Association. It is a full member. And if you talk about China, China is a dialogue partner. And recently there was a presidential election in Maldives. And the person who was recently elected, his name is Sam Muizu. Okay, his name is Sam Muizu. So this person, in his election campaign, he has said that I am going to send back all Indian troops from Maldives. So he has had an anti-India stand, right, in the election in Maldives. So Maldives is an archipelago. It's a country which is made up of various islands, right? They have around 1192 islands in Maldives. So in Maldives, whether they want to deeply cooperate with India or they want to deeply cooperate with China is a kind of election issue. So every time a person gets elected, he either has a stand towards India or he has a stand against India, right? So there have been various precedents. So the upcoming president of Maldives, he has a stand against India. He wants to deeply cooperate with China. And recently, today in the newspaper, there was an article that some, maritime ships or naval ships of China, okay, some Chinese naval ships, were going towards Maldives. Why? Because they wanted to conduct a joint, naval exercise by China and Maldives. And China wants to encircle India, right? China wants to encircle India by making its military presence in nearby regions, in Maldives, in Sri Lanka, in Bangladesh, in other regions, okay? So that's the thing. But India wants to safeguard, India wants to protect, right, its maritime region. So that's why it is very important for India to have deeper cooperation with its neighboring countries and with the countries who are members of the Indian Ocean Rim Association. All right, with the member countries who are members of Indian Ocean Rim Association. So this is another issue that is going on. So this India's maritime vision of 2030. This is a 10 years vision. Okay, this is a 10-year vision document. So this document came into being in 2020. Okay, so basically this is a 10-year vision document. In this document they have talked about how India perceives, right, its presence in the maritime region, its presence in the this particular region. Okay, Indian Ocean Rim Association, Indian Ocean region. Okay, so this is the thing. So if we talk about this particular organization, what are the challenges that are associated? What are the challenges that are associated in Indian Ocean Rim Association for India? India is a founding member of this particular organization. We need to remember that India is a founding member, but like every country that is a member of this organization, they are sovereign nations. Being sovereign nations, but the thing is there can be geopolitical competition between these countries. Okay, and so what are the challenges? Number one challenge is this organization has diverse membership. Diverse membership means there are members who are part of Indian Ocean region, there are members who are not part of Indian Ocean region. The dialogue partners, many of the dialogue partners do not have any direct presence in the Indian Ocean region. So the thing is, it has diverse membership. And if they want to get any document passed, if they want to have a consensus among them, so because of diverse membership, because of diverse geopolitical interest, many a times these consensus is not obtained, or consensus is not achieved because of diverse membership. So it is itself a challenge. Apart from this, there are issues related to security concerns. Okay, there are security concerns for India. There are security concerns for India. I have just given an example. So China and Maldives are going to conduct a joint naval exercise. Okay, that's a security concern. Apart from this, there are economic disparities. There are economic disparities among member countries. Economic disparities means there are some countries which are so small that they find very difficult to sustain their economy. For example, if I talk about Maldives, right? Recently, Maldives has inflation level so high, right? Its currency, its currency is so, its value is so low that they are totally dependent on the tourism activity. One economic activity is fishing. Fisheries is one of their primary activities. Apart from this, they are also dependent on tourism. Basically, many Indian people visit Maldives, and if they stay there, so they are going to spend money, so they are dependent on this thing. So economic disparities are there between member countries. Then there are infrastructure development related challenges. There are competing interests. What? There are competing interests in this particular organization. Although India is a founding member, but now India's standing is similar to any other member. But since India was the initial member, so it does have some say. And India is, let's say, one of the largest country in this particular region, Indian Ocean Rim Association, because here we have many island nations also. Seychelles, Mauritius, we have Madagascar, they are island nations, right? So they are small nations with which India has developed deeper cooperation. Then there are environmental concerns also. What? There are environmental concerns. What are environmental concerns? We are going to discuss about it. For example, all of us know that global warming is increasing. Since global warming is increasing, it is leading to melting of ice. from the poles, right? From the North Pole, ice is melting. From the South Pole, ice is melting. Since ice is melting, glaciers are retreating. Since glaciers are retreating, so they are adding water into the oceans. And since all the oceans are connected, so sea level is increasing, right? Sea level is increasing. And since sea level is increasing, it is leading to a kind of a fear factor among those island nations, because island nations are fearful that if sea level increases, right, so their islands will be submerged. All right, so they are at the verge of existential threat, right? They are at the verge of existential threat. So that's another problem that these countries face, right? So that's why environmental concerns are there. And since India is one of the largest and fastest growing economies, one of the fastest, let's say, major growing economy, so these countries, island nations, they expect a lot from India in terms of, let's say, India's commitment towards environment. And soon we are going to have a Conference of Parties, COP28. This Conference of Parties 28 to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC. It's going to happen in Dubai, right? It's going to happen in Dubai. So Dubai is in United Arab Emirates. So in this Conference of Parties, it is expected that India places its stand very firmly. Why? Because global warming is increasing. Even the Secretary General of the United Nations has said that now we should call it global boiling. Okay, global warming has been surpassed. Now we should call it global boiling. So in the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, they are going to discuss about many issues, and there are two prominent and very important issues that they are going to discuss about. One of the issue is known as Global Stocktake Report. Okay, it is known as Global Stocktake Report. They are going to discuss and deliberate about it. So what is Global Stocktake Report? What is the meaning of stocktake? Stocktake means accounting. Stocktake means keeping an account. Related to what? Related to environmental damage, related to environmental, let's say, pollution that has happened, related to global warming that has happened. Basically, like United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, right, when it happened in Paris earlier, right, now it is happening in Dubai. This year in December it's going to happen in Dubai. But when it happened in Paris, these countries have signed something which is known as Paris Agreement, and this Paris Agreement was signed in 2015. In the Paris Agreement, these countries have taken a pledge that we will not let the global warming go beyond 1.5 degrees centigrade as compared to pre-industrial level. So this is one of the pledge that was taken by all the countries, right? They will not let the global warming go beyond 1.5 degrees centigrade as compared to pre-industrial level. If that is not met, in that case, they will definitely not allow the global warming to go beyond 2 degrees centigrade by the end of this century, by 2100, okay? So one of the target was they will not let the global warming go beyond, like, temperature rise, go beyond, this temperature increase, go beyond this particular level by 2100, by the end of this century. If that is not met, so they will definitely not let it go beyond this many degrees by the end of this year. So as part of the Paris Agreement, that different countries have adopted. So these countries have, let's say, these countries are mandated that they declare the intended nationally determined contributions. These are known as INDCs. India also has intended nationally determined contributions. Every year we make some target, we make some pledge that we want to achieve this, right, as an environmental commitment, right? And then the government of India and many other countries, right, then they take steps to achieve these INDCs, intended nationally determined contribution. But how much of the commitment is actually achieved by these countries will be, let's say, showcased through the Global Stocktake Report. This Global Stocktake Report is released once every 5 years. So this report, this report that I'm talking about, it is released once every 5 years. So since Paris Agreement was signed in 2015, it had to be released in 2020. But what happened in 2020? In 2020, we were affected by COVID-19. In 2020, we were affected by COVID-19. And its impact was there in 2021 also. And nobody has started working on global stocktake report. So the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, right, they have worked on it. And so in 2023, when COP28 is going to happen, they are going to, let's say, release the global stocktake report. So global stocktake report will say to the world that how much of the commitment that these countries have made is actually achieved, how much of the commitment is achieved, right? So they are going to declare this particular thing. Apart from this one agenda, this is one of the important agenda. Second agenda is these countries may together discuss about the loss and damage fund. Okay, so there is a fund that they have created, loss and damage fund, because of climate vulnerabilities. Many, let's say, extreme climate events has happened, and because of those extreme climate events, the world has lost huge amount of infrastructure. We have lost huge amount of infrastructure. We have lost human beings, and many species have been wiped out. Means because of climate induced problems, because of global warming, because of environmental pollution, many species could not adapt. They could not survive, and because they could not adapt, they could not survive, they have gone extinct. But the thing is, like, we do not want a world where only human beings are left. We want all these species to survive, right, side by side. So if we recall a person, right, a person who has given the theory of evolution, if we recall a person, his name is Charles Darwin, right? What Charles Darwin said? Charles Darwin has said that a species which is able to best adapt to the, let's say, present scenario, present climate, it will be able to survive most. So it says, he says, fittest of this, survival of the fittest. He says, only that species which is going to fit, right, survival of the fittest. He says survival of the fittest. A species which is going to adapt to the changing climate will be able to survive, and it is going to, let's say, have its progeny. It's going to have its, let's say, further generations. So this is the thing. Charles Darwin has said this. So because many species were not able to adapt to the changing climate, so they have gone extinct. Okay, still the climate, global warming is going on, and now the era has come where the UN Secretary General has said that we should call it global boiling. And there was an environmental activist also. Her name is Greta Thunberg. So she was a school-going children. She said, it is the right time that we should declare climate emergency. That there is a climate emergency. She said, climate emergency should be declared by the world. Only then the world leaders are going to come together. They're going to work on it. If we do not declare climate, climate emergency, there is less political willingness for different countries to come together and to act. Recently, according to an estimate, if those countries that are developed countries, okay, those countries that are developed countries, if we account, let's say, 1 ton of CO2 emission to be equivalent to $50. Then those countries that are developed now, these countries have, let's say, polluted the environment, which amounts to $51 trillion. What? Which amounts to $51 trillion. Means these countries should pay to the world $51 trillion as a compensation to the world. Right? And if we talk about India, so India has gone in a path of development. We have not polluted that much. And so these countries are debtors of carbon, right? These are debtors of carbon. So they owe to the world, let's say, like 51 trillions of carbon dioxide equivalent if 1 ton is rated at $50 like that. So India will still be, let's say, like receiving from these countries about 600 some billion dollars, right? This is the thing. So because these developed countries has historically polluted the environment so much that they are responsible to pay to the world, and these countries have earlier agreed also, they have agreed to contribute $100 billion per year. But how much of this fund was actually released by them? Recently there was a let's say report by OECD countries. OECD means Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. So this is an organization of largely developed countries, means like rich countries. They have released a report just before the COP28. In that report, the OECD countries have said that they have already, right, this year in 2022, they have already contributed to about 86 billion US dollars towards, let's say, like to the developing countries, so that they can adopt a more sustainable way of development. They can adopt a climate friendly way of development. But the thing is, like, the funding that these countries are giving, are these funding in the nature of, let's say, grant, or they are in the nature of loan? So related to this, the developed countries do not have a consensus. Some countries are in favor of giving it in the form of loan. So out of this particular amount that they have contributed, around 64%, right, was given in the form of loan to the developing countries. Means developing countries also, although they have received funding, but the thing is, they have a responsibility to pay back to the developed countries, and so they owe to the developed countries. Now they will be in economic distress after some time, right? So this is the scenario. So environmental concerns is a big concern, right, of the Indian Ocean Rim Association. All right, so the other information that I have shared, so that you understand about the emergency related to environment. Apart from this, what are the things? There are geopolitical rivalries. Okay, apart from this, in the Indian Ocean Rim Association, there are geopolitical rivalries between these countries. For example, China is a let's say dialogue partner. India is a member, but like there are geopolitical rivalries between these two countries. So these countries should together, let's say, respond to the emerging threats. Okay, so these are the challenges that this organization is facing at this point of time. Apart from this, now let us discuss about, after discussing about the challenges, now let us discuss about the way forward. Okay, what we are going to discuss? We are going to discuss about the way forward. Related to this particular topic, the way forward. So what should be done now? What India should do? So the thing is, India should diplomatically engage, right? So there should be diplomatic engagement by India, right, towards these countries, towards the Indian Ocean Rim Association member countries. There should be regional security cooperation. There should be regional security cooperation as well. Okay, there should be regional security cooperation. Apart from this, we should think of developing infrastructure. Okay, infrastructure development. What kind of infrastructure development? Those infrastructure development that can help, right, foster security cooperation between these countries. For example, we discuss about CDRI, Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. So it's a coalition. Coalition means various countries are part of it. They are going to take, let's say, like help from one another, so that they can create those infrastructures that are resilient to the disaster, right, that are not disaster prone, or that are not hazard prone. Because like we have seen one of our neighboring country, Nepal. What happens whenever there is an earthquake? What happens? Because of earthquake, its infrastructure is damaged. huge number of lives are lost. We have recently seen in Afghanistan also. In Afghanistan, let's say the earthquake came, aftershock came, they were of almost equal magnitude, 6.9 I guess. It has led to killing of many people. So if we talk about Mediterranean region, the northern portion of Africa, there also, let's say, climate induced, let's say, like, cyclones came, right? So this is known as Mediterranean hurricane, because of which huge number of people got killed in countries, I think in Libya and some other countries that share border with the Mediterranean region. So it is important that we should learn from all of it, and we should help each other in developing, let's say, disaster resilient infrastructures, the infrastructures that will be able to withstand the disaster related shocks, maybe earthquake, tsunami, volcano, etc. Right? So India has a strong commitment towards creating this, because we have fostered deeper cooperation with Japan also. Japan is a country which is an island nation. Even after being an island nation, this particular country is affected by many cyclones, hurricanes and all. But they have created their infrastructure in such a manner that they are able to withstand many such natural hazards that happen, right? So this is the thing. Infrastructure development should be focused upon. Then we should also go for economic. Okay, we should also go for economic partnership. Okay, we should also go for economic partnership. After this, we need to work on conflict resolution mechanisms. Okay, we need to work on conflict resolution mechanisms, right? Conflict resolution mechanism. So that if a conflict arises between these countries, right? So that conflict should be diplomatically dealt with. There should be instruments. For example, let's say, in international laws, whenever two countries are in conflict with one another, the conflict may be in the nature of economy, it may be in the nature of, let's say, security related thing, but we should foster towards, let's say, arbitration. Arbitration, I mean, like, so this generally people go for international arbitration in this case. Okay, they go for international arbitration. So in case of international arbitration, they generally go to the court which is known as Permanent Court of Arbitration. So here judges are very transparent, and, like, we can appoint our own counsels there who are going to represent our case in the Permanent Court of Arbitration. And the thing is, as part of this Indian Ocean Rim Association, they can have an internal grouping. They already have a secretariat which is going to help the countries to resolve their disputes amicably between them. Okay, so conflict resolution mechanism should be worked upon. Then we need to create collaborative environmental policies. What? We need to create collaborative environmental policies. Okay, we need to create collaborative environmental policies as well. Then next, we need to go for other kind of improvements. Okay, wherever possible, we need to go for other kind of improvements. So that is all in this article. After this, like, we have given 2 questions. In your free time, you can practice these 2 questions, right? One question says, evaluate the significance of Indian Ocean Rim Association for regional cooperation in promoting economic growth and cooperation among member countries, with a focus on India's role. What measure can be taken to address various challenges among Indian Ocean Rim Association member states and foster inclusive economic development in the Indian Ocean region? This is one of the question. Second question says, discuss the opportunities and challenges for India in enhancing economic partnerships within the IORA framework, Indian Ocean Rim Association framework, right? At the end of it, we have also given previous year questions from UPSC. The questions that are similar to that are similar to this topic, means this topic has some questions that we have given for practice. So one of the question that came in 2016 UPSC means, it says, evaluate the economic and strategic dimensions of India's Look East policy in the context of post-Cold War international scenario. This is one question. It came in 2016. It is India's Look East policy that they are asking about. Today we discussed about the Sagar initiative. We have Sagar means security and growth for all in the region. We have also discussed about many other things. Then there was another question that UPSC has asked in 2015. It says Project Mausam is considered a unique foreign policy initiative of the Indian government to improve relationship with its neighbors. Does the project have a strategic dimension? Discuss. Okay, so like you can practice the previous year questions also. Okay, so that will be all from my side in this topic. Anyone having any question from this topic, you can ask me. Like I'm here to, let's say, help you address those doubts or questions that you have. Yes, Akshita, any questions? Then we have.
No, sir, from my side.
Okay, Akshay, and there is another person, AK, short name, AK47. Just kidding. Yes, any question for me? All right. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending today's session. So I hope you have a good day ahead. And Akshita, I have interacted with the team, basically related to the copies that you have, let's say, like, written editorial discussion test. So they are going to share. And today, like, one of the office staff, like his daughter had a marriage. So we all went there. So today I did not get the copy, but like once I get the copy, I'll evaluate and share the evaluated copy with you. Meanwhile, I would request you all to revise the ED topics, right? And also try to answer the questions, because these questions are from these specific topics. You will get deeper insight after, let's say, once you try to answer these questions. All right? So that's all. I hope you have a great time ahead. Hope to see you soon, right? In next ED class. Okay then, huh? Take care. Bye-bye.